Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Finance with Avrin. In this video, I'm giving you an overview of the top 5 CD certificate of deposit accounts ranked by APY annual percentage yield for April 2025. Now, the last time I did this video was back in February 2025, and there's definitely been some changing to the rankings with the accounts in this video. There's a new number one, and actually the number one from the last video is knocked out of the top 5. And also there's been some shuffling around with some accounts. Some accounts have kept their rates stable, and some accounts have dropped their rates. And if you like these kind of videos, support the channel and hit the like button down below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel Finance with Avrin for more videos on making your money work harder and smarter for you. Now, all of the CD accounts in this video are FDIC insured. All of the rates are fixed rates, meaning they will stay the same rate when you open the account and lock in the rate for the length of the term of the CD. Once you open the CD, fund it, and the CD starts, that APY will remain the same for the term of the CD. Also, none of these accounts have any type of monthly maintenance fee. However, there is an early withdrawal penalty if you withdraw the funds before the end of the CD term. And that penalty ranges depending on the CD. Sometimes it's a couple of months worth of interest. Sometimes it's a little bit more, a little bit less. So it just depends on the actual bank or financial institution, what they've set that fee at. And also, these accounts have various initial deposit requirements, and I'll tell you about those specifically for each account in this video, and also give you a calculation example of how much a certain amount of interest would earn in these CD accounts for the term for the CD. First, I'm going to start off with some honorable mentions of well-known banks and financial institutions that didn't quite make the list of the top 5, but are still notable with the APY that they have in their account. As you see right here, first up, we have Capital One with their 12-month CD account at 4% APY. There's no minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this 12-month CD at 4% APY with the interest compounding monthly, after 12 months, you would earn about $1,200 of interest. And you see right there with all of these examples, I'm going to have this screenshot on the screen of the interest that I'm telling you about that you would earn. And also you'll see the monthly breakdown. So you see the interest each month and you see how it's compounding, and there's more interest each month right there. So yeah, you see it up there on the screen. That's how much interest you would earn with this CD account. Moving on to the next honorable mention, it is the Ally 6-month CD account at 4% APY. Previously, a couple of months ago, this CD account was at 4.05% APY. However, it's been dropped down 0.05% to 4% APY. There's no minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Ally CD account for 6 months at 4% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 6 months, you would earn about $594.12 worth of interest. And the next honorable mention here is the Synchrony 13-month CD account at 4.35% APY. There's no minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Synchrony CD account for 13 months at that 4.35% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 13 months, you would earn about $1,416.28 worth of interest. And another honorable mention here is the Popular Direct 6-month CD account. A couple of months ago, this CD account was at 4.45% APY. However, it's since then been lowered to 4.30% APY. There's a $10,000 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Popular Direct 6-month CD account at 4.30% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 6 months, you would earn about $638.21 worth of interest. And next up here, we have another honorable mention, and this was a bit special in a couple of ways. Let me tell you about it. This is the Bank 5 Connect 24-month certificate of deposit at 4.25% APY. There's a $500 minimum deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. So yes, the first special thing about this CD is that it is a long-term CD at 24 months, so 2 years where you can lock in that 4.25% APY. So that is nice because, you know, the direction of yields with deposit accounts like CD accounts and savings accounts has been on the downward trajectory. If you've been subscribed to my channel and checking out my videos like this, then you already definitely know that. And you've seen and heard me talk about specific examples of these declining rates in APYs. So having a 24-month CD of this high of an APY is nice. Another special thing about this CD account is that you can add additional funds to this account throughout the term of it. So that is special right there, because for most CD accounts, you can't add money to it. After you do your deposit of the certain amount of money, your principal that you want to have in a CD, that's it. You lock in that amount of money for that specific APY for that specific term. Now there are add-on CDs that some companies have out there, but typically the APYs for those aren't as high as these high yield APYs that are on this video. So with this account having a 4.25%, but still having that feature of being able to add additional funds, that makes this CD really stand out in another way. So yeah, 24 months, and also you can add additional funds to this Bank 5 Connect CD account. The calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Bank 5 Connect 24-month CD account at 4.25% APY with the interest compounding monthly, after 24 months, you would earn about $2,604.19 worth of interest. And that's it for the honorable mentions. I want to tell you about a couple of accounts that were in the top 5 previously in my February 2025 video, but have now been kicked out of the top 5 with the lowering of their APYs. First up here, you see Quantic with their 3-month CD account. Previously, this account was at 4.50% APY, and it was number 5 on my list. I believe it was tied at number 5 with a couple of other accounts. Since then, it's been lowered down to 4% APY. Still a $500 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. In another account that was previously in my top 5 list, it was at number 1. That was the Mutual One Bank 3-month certificate of deposit account. It was at 4.80% back in February at number 1 on my list. However, since then, it's been lowered down to 4.05%. So no longer high enough to make it on my top 5 list here. And there's a $500 minimum deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. All right, so that's it for the couple of accounts that were in the top 5 before, but are no longer in it. Big drops with those APYs right there. Let's jump into the top 5 list. Starting here with number 5, it is the Flagstar Bank 6-month CD account at 4.40% APY. There's a $500 minimum deposit required to open this account and a $10 million deposit maximum. The interest on this account is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Flagstar 6-month CD at 4.40% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 6 months, you would have about $652.90 worth of interest earned. And at number 4, we have a tie. There's several accounts that like this 4.50% APY, it seems. First up here, we have the Bread Financial 6-month CD account at 4.50% APY. There's a $1,500 minimum deposit required to open this account and a maximum deposit of $1 million. And with this CD account, the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Bread Financial 6-month CD at 4.50% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 6 months, you would earn about $667.57 of interest. Also tied at number 4 is the Lending Club 10-month CD account at 4.50% APY. There's a $2,500 minimum deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this 10-month CD account with Lending Club at 4.50% APY, after 10 months, you would earn about $1,120.85 worth of interest. And also tied at number 4 is the Basque Bank 3-month CD account. Previously, a couple of months ago, this CD account was at 4.65% APY. However, it's since been lowered down to 4.50% APY. There's a $1,000 minimum deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Basque Bank 3-month CD account at 4.50% APY with the interest compounding daily, after 3 months, you would have earned about $331.95 worth of interest. Also tied at number 4 is the My Banking Direct 6-month CD account at 4.50% APY. There's a $2,500 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded and credited quarterly. Now with this CD account, there is a fine print that states that it may not be available to all customers, specifically if you live near a Flagstar bank. So they kind of have a location requirement somewhat going on with the ability to open this CD account, which you see Flagstar Bank made the top 5 list with their CD account at 4.40%. So they have a high yield CD as well, not as high as this one with My Banking Direct, but it's pretty close there. And My Banking Direct is a subsidiary of Flagstar, so there is a connection there. And calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this My Banking Direct 6-month CD account at 4.50% APY with the interest compounded quarterly, after 6 months, you would earn about $667.57 worth of interest. Also tied at number 4 is the Marcus by Goldman Sachs 14-month CD account at 4.50% APY. There's a $500 minimum initial deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And this is a promotional CD offered by Marcus by Goldman Sachs, and they state that it will expire on May 28th, 2025. I don't know if they'll extend it or anything like that, but as long as you open the account and deposit your funds into it and lock it in before that date, then you'll have that 14 months of earning 4.50% no matter where the yield goes or if they offer this specific term CD or anything like that. So yes, this is a limited time offer CD in terms of the combination of its term length and APY. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Marcus by Goldman Sachs 14-month CD at 4.50% APY, with the interest compounding daily, after 14 months, you would earn about $1,580.83 worth of interest. And at number 3, we have the Total Bank 6-month CD account. A couple of months ago, this CD account was at 4.61% APY. However, it's since been lowered 0.10% down to 4.51% APY. There's a $25,000 minimum deposit required to open this account, and a deposit maximum of $1 million. With this account, the interest is compounded daily and credited monthly. And fine print with this one states that Total Bank can conduct business anywhere in the U.S. with exception of the American Samoa, Florida, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and U.S. Virgin Islands. The calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Total Bank 6-month CD at 4.51% APY, with the interest compounding daily, after 6 months, you would earn about $669.04 worth of interest. And at number 2 is the Brilliant Bank 9-month CD account at 4.55% APY. There's a $1,000 minimum deposit required to open this account, and the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. And this is the first time that Brilliant Bank has made it on one of my ranking videos with one of their accounts. I was unfamiliar with this bank and this account until I started doing some research for this video and saw the APY for it, did some research on the bank, make sure everything was all right with it, legit FDIC insurance. And yep, so Brilliant Bank has made it on my top 5 list and at the high ranking of number 2 with their CD account. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in this Brilliant Bank 9-month CD at 4.55% APY with the interest compounding monthly, after 9 months, you would earn about $1,018.04 worth of interest. And at number 1, we have the Sun Canyon Bank 6-month CD account at 4.58% APY. There's a $5,000 minimum deposit required to open this account. And with this account, the interest is compounded monthly and credited monthly. And this is another new entry on my ranking video. I was unfamiliar with Sun Canyon Bank and this CD account prior to this video until I started doing some research for it and saw that they have a high yield CD at 4.58%. So did some research on Sun Canyon Bank. They are FDIC insured with this account. And yeah, they have made it on my list for the first time and at number 1 at that with their 6-month CD account at 4.58%. So current reigning champion belongs to the Sun Canyon Bank CD account. Calculation example for this one, if you had $30,000 in the Sun Canyon Bank 6-month CD at 4.58% APY with the interest compounding monthly, after 6 months, you would earn about $679.31 worth of interest. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown of the top CD rates helpful, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates on where to get the best returns for your money and make it work harder and smarter for you. With economic uncertainty still looming and interest rates potentially shifting later this year, now might be a smart time to lock in one of these high yield CD options while they're still around. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care.